Hello everyone, welcome to Under Visits. In today's video, we'll be discussing 5 awkward questions Disney movies never quite answered.
How can I prove myself to you?
Disney movies are among the best media for children out there, and maybe even more than a few adults. It's not a weird thing to love Disney movies, they can be intoxicating. However, with the intoxication comes a viewpoint in which some movies aren't critiqued as heavily as they sometimes should be. We recently went on a Disney binge, and after a few movies, we began to realize there were some glaring issues never really addressed in some of the favorite childhood movies. Did other mermaids ask to get legs after Ariel left? When Ariel first received legs thanks to a terrible deal, it's assumed these type of acts are reserved for the likes of sea witches at a terrible cost. Yet the Little Mermaid shows that King Triton is also capable of such feats. After he restored Ariel's human legs so that she can live a life of luxury above ground with Prince Eric, one has to wonder, did any of Triton's daughters feel like they got the short end of the stick? We are told it's better and wetter under the sea, but surely Ariel can't be only mermaid looking to start a life on land. We can't imagine this act skated without any controversy, and some other mermaids soon approached the king to see if they couldn't leave the world of fish for something new. Perhaps because Ariel was considered a bit of an odd duck to begin with. Everyone was cool with it and maybe secretly glad the girl who twirled dimple hoppers through her hair and was finally away from the kingdom. What exactly changed between Simba's rule and Scar's? Beyond the fact we found it weird a large portion of the animal kingdom bowed to a ruler that ultimately hunted them to survive. We never quite understood how the kingdom was in such dire straits over the course of Scar's reign. It's never entirely clear how much time passed between Simba's exile and return. But even if it was the full 4 to 5 years it would take for him to reach maturity, can Scar be blamed for the state the Pride Lands were in that time? In reality, even letting the hyenas hunt where they may be in the Pride Lands couldn't disorient the area as much as it did. And even if it did, what was a lion who only just came out of isolation on a diet of nothing but bugs going to do about that? Simba had no real-world experience governing, and we never heard any thoughts of his game plan for bringing things back to order. We are more inclined to it was just dumb luck things turn around and Simba just happened to return at the right time.
How can I prove myself to you?
What happened to that dude who tried to kill Snow White? People really get hung up on the evil queen's plan to kill Snow White with a poisoned apple. But don't forget, she also sent an assassin to try and kill her towards the beginning of the movie. This guy hung out and waited for Snow White to help a bird and then pulled a knife to finish the deed. Eventually, he is overcome with emotions and warns her queen that she is trying to kill her, which helps Snow White avoid immediate danger. She runs and we never see him again. It's not enough for us. Who was that guy? What kind of man says he will kill a person and then has such a sudden change of heart in a moment like that? Where did he go after all that happened? Because we can't imagine he could go back to the kingdom and answer to Queen. This man surely has to pay the devil his due in some way, and we have always been curious as to what become of him. Why did Prince rely on shoe size when he saw Cinderella's face? Cinderella is a great story and technically not even Disney's, but that doesn't mean they are off the hook for this one. In what world do you find a woman at a party have a great night and then scour the town trying to size up women's feet to see if they match the woman you danced with that night? Are you really supposed to believe Cinderella was the only woman in that area with that shoe size? Furthermore, why didn't Prince Charming simply look to see which woman resembled Cinderella? Clearly her stepsisters looked nothing like her, so it was a complete waste of everyone's time that they tried to put the glass slipper on their big ass feet to begin with. A legitimate strategy would have been to go home to home first, distinguishing which women resembled Cinderella and then ask if they left anything behind at the party. Who the hell is going to say that they left a glass slipper behind? This prince may be charming, but he is not the brightest royal in the bloodline, to be sure. What exactly was Cruella Devil's endgame? 101 Dalmatian, Cruella Devil really wanted a fur coat made out of a ton of Dalmatian puppies, so by default, she's one of the worst Disney villains. She's also one of the dumbest because it's never entirely certain how her plan is going to work. So she skins 101 puppies to make a fur coat, and then what? Was there really an exception she would be allowed to wear a coat made of Dalmatian fur with no legal ramifications? There would be some sort of reckoning for that crime, unless of course Cruella said that the fur was fake. In that case, we can't imagine why creating a coat out of fake Dalmatian fur wouldn't have been her plan to begin with. Also, we are not entirely sure why it had to be puppies. We would imagine that adult Dalmatians would yield more fur and not require so many missing dogs. Not that we think there's just any justifying. The point is, Cruella Devil is as dumb as she is evil, and we are not sure the movie ever properly addressed that.
Where are they? Here, dog.
So which one is your favorite among all? Do share in the comments section. Thank you so much.